Hello, YouTubers. It's Dave's Life Over 60 blog again, video blog. And today I got two items in the hand delivered to me by, I think it was an Amazon staffer. Anyways, they brought it right up to my door, which was kind of cool. And the item I was waiting for with great anticipation was the little alcohol burner, which is pretty impressive. I did a quick test. I don't have the proper fuel. I don't have the denatured alcohol, which is 99.9% pure. All I had was some rubbing alcohol, which is 70%, which will work in a pinch. I put about a quarter of an ounce in the bottom of the container and fired it up, and to my surprise, it worked. I didn't think it would. And it worked with a nice blue flame. I think the blue flame using the 70% wasn't as clear, wasn't as pure, and there was a lot of orange even after it primed, I guess you call it. And but it didn't take much. I basically, it took a little bit to get it going because it's not 100% alcohol. Took about 4 tries, and that's inside on a really fairly warm day, maybe 75 degrees in the kitchen where I tested it. And it took a little bit to get it going, but once it got going, it warmed up pretty fast, and I'd say within 10 seconds I was getting the blue flames coming out of the jets. I also tested how easy it was to extinguish. The 70% that I was using, I could actually blow out, just blow really hard, and it will extinguish the flame. And I think what it did is it basically blew the fumes away from the flame, and the flame went out. And I haven't done a burn test with it to find out how long it would take to boil water. I don't think it would be a fair test, although it might be interesting to see just whether or not 70% alcohol, which is readily available even in grocery stores, would be powerful enough to boil water. I think based on the fact that the flames were coming out maybe a quarter of an inch high, more like an eighth of an inch high. It was producing a fair amount of heat, but not so much as to be dangerous. I could hold my hand, well, you can't see this, but let's see, maybe about 12 inches above the burning cooker, and I could feel warmth, but not uncomfortable or anything like that. As I brought it closer to the stove, of course, it got, sorry about that, it got a little too warm to keep your hand there. So I think there is enough BTUs to boil water. How long that would take, I wouldn't know. I suspect it would take longer than if I used fondue fuel or something that they recommend in the videos that I've watched. Here it is anyways. It's quite a nice little device. A lot of them you see were basically just this without, it's hard to do with one hand, just a second. I'm going to have to put the camera down. I'm sorry. Okay, I also apologize for shooting this with my hands, but I wanted to get in close, and I didn't feel like getting the tripod out. Anyways, this is the way most of these. Wait, that doesn't even come with it. Hang on. Another reason why you should always use a tripod is it's very difficult to do things with one hand. Okay. This is just called a portable alcohol stove, aluminum alloy brass mini burner. It's not the, forget the name of that, the one that actually everybody's seen, but it's sure a pretty close knockoff. Now, there is a residue in the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. and that residue is water. Because while I let it burn off the alcohol. Ouch! Sorry, bad back. I let it burn off the alcohol, and then I checked to see what was in the bottom, and it's basically water, H2O. Because the 30% that's not alcohol is mostly water. Anyways, this is pretty much all you get with the other one, the one that started all this business. But it's very close. I like the way this one's designed. If you see the holes, let's see if you can make that out. Yeah, notice there's two big holes and a little hole. That works well. That's actually an improvement. And you can see that the inner wall goes all the way to the bottom. It's well made. I imagine if you dropped it, you might dent it. But this is a brass color. I don't think it's made out of brass. Might be, but I don't think so. It says here aluminum alloy. There's what I paid for it. I could have got one for $6.99, but I like this one because it came with the cap. Okay, so we've been running for about 1 minute and 13 seconds. And I've been doing this with various levels of success and failure for about 2 hours tonight. The first experiment I pulled was in the kitchen with a kitchen saucepan and 2 cups of water. This particular stove was unable to bring that to a boil. It did get the water pretty hot, but not enough to actually boil. Okay, I hope I have enough alcohol in here to bring this one to a boil. Oh, I can see there's some steam starting to come off the top. So let me elevate this back to where you'll be able to see the water. 2 minutes and 18 seconds. I'll switch the lights back on once it's ready to boil. There, you can probably see, maybe I can do it with this light. There, you can see the steam starting to come off it already. Yeah, that's too much. Sorry about that. Okay, at 4 minutes and 8 seconds, I think we have a boil. It's not a rolling boil, but it's a boiling. You can see the bubbles coming up. We'll give it a few more seconds. This will not come to a really brisk boil, especially since I've used more water than the last time. Oh, by the way, there's 8 ounces of water in there. What I was saying before when you couldn't hear me is I've run this experiment 3 times today. Once in the kitchen with approximately 2 cups of water, and it brought it to a very hot state, but not quite boiling. Not even to the state that that you see now. I would consider this to be a boil. As you can see, there is bubbles coming up. Actually, there's a good brisk boil. There's a rolling boil. Okay. And I think there's no argument there that that's a full boil. Certainly hot enough for the purposes here. I have brought a tea bag with me, and I have a cup. So let's take it off the burner. Okay, so that was a little over 3 minutes, maybe 3.5 minutes, and I had a rolling boil. If I had a bigger pot and a little more time, I maybe could have boiled enough to make a full cup. But as it is, I got about half a cup, which really is all I want right now. So there's got to be some way I can make a pot holder for this. Is it cooled down yet? Yeah. Anywho, that's it. I was able to boil some water and make myself a tea. So that'll be it from Dave's Life After 65 blog. Hope you got something out of this. If you didn't get anything else, you found out that using rubbing alcohol is not very good for what we were trying to do tonight. So take care. Have a great day and enjoy. Play safe and be well.